Welcome back to Turf Talk, Baton Edition. And Vance, we had the Pegasus World Cup this weekend, and no question about it, we already sort of got a preview in the Breeders Cup Classic, but certainly the baton passed from California Chrome to Arrogate as the country's best horse.
Yeah, some of us partisans like myself thought the baton had been passed in November, but technically the reigning horse of the year did pass it to Arrogate in the World Cup, who won it just in a magnificent fashion. And not many more superlatives you can come up with to describe that particular performance.
Yeah, and I wrote on Brisnet his third 112 plus, and that might even change based on how the timing shakes out, but very rare company for that. And yeah, as you said, the superlatives, to me, he's, Ghost Zapper is the best I've seen, and certainly Arrogate seems to be in that category. I'll say, if I'm going to nitpick, I'll say I'd probably want to see it one more time, maybe in a race like the Met Mile, which would be a one-turn mile, a little different from him, or at least again at 1.25 miles. But obviously the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and kind of touch wood wherever you are right now. Hopefully he gets through 2017 in perfect fashion. He's going to have about 3 or 4 more races, we assume, before the Breeders Cup Classic, which is his ultimate goal. And apparently skipping the Dubai World Cup, which I think is a good idea. If the connections think it's a good idea, I think it's a good idea. We've only had one dual Breeders Cup Classic winner. It would be neat to see him do it a second time, and then maybe wrap things up again in next year's Pegasus. We'll see.
Yep, and baton, sort of a double meaning, obviously with California Chrome, passing it on to Arrogate, but also this week we moved from the top older horses in the country to a 3-year-old laden stake schedule headlined by the champion Classic Empire, and very early in his year, obviously Derby the target, but to be honest, in terms of the talent I've seen at the track, he is the only hope I have among American horses to give Arrogate a run for his money. And I'm not even saying he can. There's a lot of development needed, and he'll have to be faster. But among the older set, Gunrunner, Motom, Shaman Ghost, they're not in Arrogate's league. So if it's going to be anyone, I think it's going to have to be a 3-year-old.
I totally agree with you. And the first step will be Saturday in the Holy Bull at Gulfstream, where I assume he's going to be an odds-on favorite.
Yep.
The field was in the process of drawing while we're videotaping this, but it didn't seem like he was going to attract too much of a serious amount of competition in the Holy Bull. This should be a very good setup for some of his future prep races. I don't know if he's going to run again before the Florida Derby or Bluegrass or not. I suppose he will. Mark Cassie has kind of mentioned that he likes the 3 preps before the Derby.
Yeah, and Jeff Lowe, I don't know if you saw that quote he sent out, but and we saw it with Tepin. Mark's talked that he's walked the walk that he's talked with Tepin and other horses he has. He seems to enjoy running them, and why wouldn't you when they're that good? So yeah, 3 preps would be interesting. Certainly a departure from what we've seen from the leaders of the division. But yeah, if they're going good and the money's right, I see no reason why that would stop them. And based on what we saw in the fall with that hopeful where he had the hiccup and threw the jockey, he might actually benefit from getting that experience going into Derby with the 20 horses and the crowd and such.
Yeah, and it's neat also that he has a lot of experience winning at Churchill Downs already, just like McCracken is another horse I like, and he's perfect 3 for 3 over the surface. So we're going to have at least 2 very experienced horses going into the Kentucky Derby who have that winning experience on the Churchill surface.
Yep, and we have preps also at Santa Anita and Aqueduct, and I believe the Weebin is this weekend as well. Not a points race, but I always like to cherry pick the winners. Especially since Underwood lost at Sunland this weekend, I need a new off the beaten path horse.
Yeah, we'll see if we can find another Iowa bred in the mix. And the Weebin is a prep for the Spiral, which is always a big deal here in Kentucky. So gotta watch that one for sure.
Yeah, my wife went to high school with a girl named Weebin. She was named after the radio station.
Very cool.
I've seen
trivia
the yearbook. There is someone out there named Weebin.
Very cool trivia.
Yeah. So yeah, that race is Saturday, and hopefully Weebin, wherever you are, you'll enjoy it. Any other thoughts on this group as the 3-year-old races ramp up?
No particular thoughts yet. Everybody's still trying to well, most of the major contenders have yet to make their first start so far this year. But I just wanted to make a quick mention of I think a friend of yours or someone you were associated with much more than I did. I didn't have a chance to meet him, but our turf riding companion, Bill Mooney, passed away sadly last week of cancer, and I just want to acknowledge to all his friends and family our deepest condolences. He did a lot for our sport. Certainly had a great interest in racing history, which was right up my alley. And like I said, I didn't have the fortune to talk with him face to face, but I know he meant a lot to a lot of people, and especially since with your previous working with him at the Thoroughbred Times.
Yeah, he was a contributing editor when I was there, and mentioned this. There's a Turf Writers Remembrance thing that came out. My contribution was, here's this guy, he wrote a book on Keeneland, talking to all the brass there. He wrote for the New York Times, pretty much a pillar of, historical knowledge of racing. Yet every year he'd go to Mountaineer to help them with their West Virginia Derby. Clearly this was someone who loved the game at all levels and enjoyed being a part of it, whether it was at the Keeneland Library or at the track itself, and that kind of enthusiasm is going to be missed, but he certainly helped pass it on. There isn't a younger generation in the Keeneland press box that didn't have the fortune to sit alongside Bill and talk to him. So hopefully they'll pass it on down the road too. But thank you for mentioning that, because Bill certainly will be missed.
No problem. He was, from all I've heard, he has been a great gentleman, and we'll certainly miss him in the sport.
Yep, no question. All right, well, didn't mean to go out on a somber note, but Bill is a big reason why a lot of people get to, enjoy the game as they do and read about it. We heard a lot about that at the Eclipse Awards with Beyer and Christ, and, just having that eloquence and being able to convey the excitement that we all feel when we watch and wager on racing is a gift, and we're thankful that Bill had the opportunity to share it with us, and we hope we get to do the same down the road, and we'll do it again next week.